Gentlemen, the session A Man with a Pen, a book by Waqas Khan, is about to begin. Here we have Miss Nazish Ataullah and Mr. Waqas Khan in a discussion. Ms. Nazish Ataullah is an artist, educator, writer, curator, human rights activist, and an active member of the Women's Action Forum. In a career that spans 4 decades, Professor Ataullah is best known as the founder of printmaking specialization in the National College of Arts. She is a graduate of Kinnaird College for Women She is a graduate of Kinnaird College for Women and the National College of Arts. She undertook postgraduate studies at the Slade School of Fine Art at the Institution of Education, London University. Ataullah retired as a principal of NCA in 2010. She is a fellow of NCA and was awarded with the title Chevalier d'Art by the government of France. She lives and works in Lahore. Next we have Mr. Waqas Khan. Mr. Waqas was born in Akhtarabad and is a visual artist who uses multi-layered mediums including drawings and installations. He challenges traditional aesthetic labels such like minimalistic abstraction and miniature, introducing an academic debate about his experimental approach. His art ranges from large-scale canvases to neon and wire-based installations. His works are a part of public collections at the Whitworth, Manchester Museum, British Museum, London, Victoria and Albert Museum, London, Manchester Art Gallery, Kamel Lazar Foundation, Tunis, Kiran Nadar Museum, New Delhi, Devi Art Foundation, New Delhi, the Deutsche Bank Collection, Frankfurt, and the Habib Bank Limited Art Collection, Karachi. Over to you guys.
Thank you, everybody. I'm very happy to be in Karachi, which is my home city. And so whenever I'm invited, I immediately come here with great pleasure. Before we start this session, I would like everyone to observe 1 minute's silence for the passing of His Highness, the Aga Khan, whom I had the great pleasure of meeting at the time when the first award for architecture was launched in the early 80s at Shalimar Bagh and at the National College of Arts, where he was present. So we'll first say a little prayer for him. Ameen. I would like to welcome the new Aga Khan, Prince Karim Al Husseini, and the 5th leader of the Ismaili Jamaat worldwide. And may he continue the noble mission of his illustrious father, whose commitment to art and culture, apart from many other things that he did, was exemplary. And this brings us to what we are doing today in this hall, and that is to launch this monograph that many of you have with you, which is a project of HBL, and I attribute this to the leadership of Sultan Ali Allana Sahab, who is not with us because he is out of the country. And what he has done is that he, following in the footsteps of His Highness the Aga Khan, he spread that vision in many directions. But one of the things that he did, on the advice of his followers and his team leaders, was to set up an art collection, HBL art collection. And this is a marvelous endeavor, because this collection rivals other collections, other such collections that banks such as the Deutsche Bank, that comes to mind immediately, set up many, many years ago in Germany. And the Deutsche Bank art collection is known worldwide. Deutsche Bank supports Frieze Art, one of the major art fairs in the world. And apart from supporting many other endeavors, Deutsche Bank also has a huge collection of art that adorns its walls, but also is also in the bank itself. It has a prize that it awards, a very prestigious prize, and so on and so on. And so we're looking to our own HBL to follow in what a bank such as the Deutsche Bank has been doing. So Allana Sahab, after having set up this art collection, HBL art collection, the team comprising Maya Ismail and Jamal Nasir Sahab, amongst others, set to work. One of the things they did was to appoint a curator. And the curator is a young man, also a student of mine and a great friend of Vakas's, because I think they were class fellows, or he was senior to him. Asad was senior to you.
Quite senior.
So quite senior, he says. Obviously, all these people are my students, so I, get all the years mixed up. But anyway, Asad Hai stepped into that role and has been remarkable. So 2016 is when they launched this art collection. No, not 16, 19 is when they launched the art collection. And what they started doing was acquiring works of very established artists and also acquiring works of emerging artists. So there was a kind of combination of the collection, what comprised the collection. And it's been a slow process. And of course, we keep saying that, the bank should really put its weight behind it even more, because it has thousands of branches across Pakistan and also many branches across the world. And wouldn't it be fantastic if Pakistan's art adorns the walls of those branches for the public to engage with it and to look at what Pakistan produces And that is one of the best things that Pakistan puts forward to the world and gives to the world. So this accumulation of art is now to be seen in many places. But one of the projects that was something that happened after work was acquired initially and commissioned as well was to get Waqas Khan, also my former student, to make 7 works. One of the 7 works comprises 20 small works. That completes the whole work. And I'm going to ask Waqas to talk about this experience and this relationship that was established between himself and the bank and how this all happened. I believe Sultan Ali Allana Saab saw Waqas's work at Frieze Art for the first time and came back quite intrigued. And actually, that is where it all began, in a way. And then he started consulting the people whom he ought to have consulted and involving them in what was to happen next. So, Waqas, would you like to tell us how this relationship with HPL began?
Assalamu alaikum ji. Assalamu alaikum ji. First of all, I want to say thank you to you all for coming. Thank you. And I wanted to say, before starting this, I want to say thank you to my galleries, Sabina Amrani Gallery from Madrid and Prinzinger from Vienna, because they've been very supportive. They've been very supportive about this project. So, and I want to say thank you to all HPL team first. شکریہ مجھے برداشت کرنے کا کیونکہ یہ بہت it was quite a exercise. اور my partner is here as well. Thank you to you, Bushra, for being super kind throughout. So let me try to answer this. First of all, this is the first time I'm sharing this platform with my teacher, actually. Yeah, this is the first time. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy with this. It's an honor for me to. And because she has seen me, she knows me in and out. So aaj main jo bhi bolunga khair hai. Aaj koi masla nahi. So, like she said, it started from because HPL had this collection before. They had these works of all the artists in their collection before. So we started having this engagement of having how we can put these works in the collection. So it was, I would say it was a bit long engagement. It was Maya and Jamal Saab was like, we've been sharing the notes all the time, how we can do it from everything, कि काम कैसे किया जाए, काम को लाया कैसे जाए, and the process of it includes everything from the framing, everything. तो हमारी ये बहुत ज़्यादा engagement रहती रही कि हम काम को कैसे to sum up in a way that we can show a body of work. And for me, it was a rare opportunity. I have to say this because I haven't exhibited for quite some time. So this is the rare opportunity for me to actually exhibit my works here. So that was like the best thing. So I was so excited. I was like, okay, let's do this and let's do it like this, all this way or something like that. So we had this conversation all the time. So hota kya tha ki I used to come because this is how my process works. So like I said, they were very kind, they were very supportive. They were like, okay, tum karo jo karna hai, tum karo sahi kuch, you know, one of those things. Like, you just, this is a space for you, and how you can manipulate this whole space, how you can create something out of it. تو میں یہاں آ کے رہتا تھا. I used to live here. Like, I used to come in the bank and I used to walk in. I know everybody in that building, like from the gatekeeper to the last floor. So I was having these conversations with those people کہ کیسے یہاں پہ باقی کام بھی, because they have other works too. تو ہوتا کیا تھا, because this is how I work. I try to be in those spaces. I try to stay in those spaces and then get back to my studio. So this is how it started. This whole engagement has started this way. And then of course there was a lot of, because there was, I won't call it, there are a lot of, because material issues and how to get the frames done and what logistics issues they, and thanks to this team, they actually made sure that har cheez pahunche in time. So this is how it all started. Yeah.
Well, this is one aspect of the particular project in mind, and what we can see. Some of us have had the honor and the pleasure to be able to see it installed in situ. And I'm hoping that in the future it will be actually seen by many, many other people, by the public at large. And that is only possible when the bank decides to make spaces, it is more of a viewing space, a gallery or something like that within the bank's premises, that it will become more visible. Let's not talk about that at this point, but let's talk about this particular. First, I'd like to talk about the monograph, and then we'll talk about what you do and how you make and so forth. So the monograph was also part of this larger project. And this is the interesting thing is that Waqas has something like 6 monographs that have all been published overseas. And there was no book in Pakistan on his work. So in that respect, this is a first. And it is a splendid monograph, because if you look at the quality of the book, it has been superbly designed. It has been, I think the cover has been designed by Sara Aziz, who is a graduate of Beacon House National University School of Visual Art and Design. The printing has been done by topical printers in Lahore, Nasir Baloch, who is dedicated to excellence in printing. And the paper is superb. The design work inside is superb. And apart from that, the main people who have been involved with the production of the book, starting with the great editor that we have, Mariam Hassan, who looked at everything very, very carefully. There are 3 major contributors. The first contributor is Jonathan Jones, who is the art critic for the Guardian newspaper in England. And he is an acknowledged art critic, and has also written other books as well. And he was one of the first people who, after Waqas was nominated, shortlisted for the Jameel Prize in 2013, Jonathan Jones was the first one to write on his work. And that really sent ripples across the art world. The second person who's written an extensive essay on Waqas in this monograph is Zohreen Murtaza, Zoreen Murtaza is also a graduate of the National College of Arts. She is a scholar. And she is someone who has interviewed Waqas innumerable times. And she has done a very deep study on his work, contextualizing it with her own research. And she has come up with an excellent essay, which all of us will read, which I have, of course, read already. And the third essay is by Sara Khan, a fiction writer who lives in Islamabad. And again, what she has done is that she has taken us on another kind of a journey into Waqas's making and living and so on, which is really very, very enjoyable. And all of this has been summed up in a preface by my teacher, Professor Salima Hashmi, and the great doyenne of art. And no book would be complete without her preface or comments or some part of it at least. And then, of course, Asad, who's written his curatorial note, and Ambreen Karamat, who has to be acknowledged at this point, of the White Turban Consultancy, who has been bringing out time and again excellent books on art. And we're very proud of her contribution, because this is something that we lacked. We didn't have books and monographs and edited books written by people on contemporary art or on modern art, on different topics related to various aspects of art. And I'm not referring to Fakir Ijazuddin, of course, but because he's a scholar and has produced, as he said today, 23 books. But I must say that the White Turban Consultancy has been remarkable in their contribution, and they have really supported the arts in a big way. So everyone together, this whole teamwork has been is something to be lauded. And you're very fortunate to have all received copies of the book, and I hope it gets disseminated to many people, and that people learn about Waqas's journey and about his incredible art making processes through this book. Now, I would like Waqas to talk.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please do. I'm really happy if somebody's asking me a question. Yeah, go ahead.
So, yesterday it was so Madam came yesterday, so I took her. So you have seen the works in the tower. So I want you to share with me your experience instead of I'm talking, because it's a rare opportunity to have you share with me right now. So I would love to listen when you look at those pieces, because I've showed you how those pieces has been staged there, like how we curated that space and something like that. Would you like to talk about that first? And
well, there was some part of the curation which I liked very much. I thought that they were located very well. There were some that I had my comments about, and I made those. I told Waqas what I felt. But what I liked very much about the work is, and for me, because you see, so much has been written about the work. He is, they talk about his links to Sufism and his breathing practices and his, engagement with the work in a particular sort of trance-like frame of mind, and so on and so forth. Well, I was not looking at it necessarily like that, because I know that someone the scale of the work particularly, even if it's small or if it's very large. And the very large works, obviously the involvement is of a different kind as to when the work is very, very small. It's the nature of how an artist engages with that work is different. I was looking at the work when it moves from a Vasli surface to a canvas surface, a decision that Waqas took, and I was aware of what he had done earlier. And so the scale to the big, large canvases is something which, when I looked at very closely yesterday, it was something that gave me a lot of pleasure, and I also paid homage, the two of us did, to my Ustad, and that was Zahurul Akhlaq, because he pointed out to us that it is all to do with the surface, that you have to prepare your surface according to the work that you're going to execute on it. And I'm sure that Ijaz will back me on this, because when a miniature painter is preparing his surface and preparing the Vasli, as Waqas, who took miniature painting as a minor subject, while he was doing printmaking as a major subject at the National College of Arts, he knows that when the Vasli is being prepared and when the surface is being burnished, that preparation is very critical, because it is only then that the paint is, and the brush works in a particular way, and the paint is laid on in a particular manner. And similarly, if you are working with acrylic on canvas, or with oil on canvas, or on linen for that matter, then again, the surfaces have to be prepared according to what you want. And so we took great pleasure in looking at the surfaces in great detail. And I don't know if this detail is going to interest any of you, but certainly for us it was very pleasurable. And then to see how Waqas, I kept asking him, okay, so what kind of a pen are you using? Because you're using a Rotring pen, and you're using a pen which is, what did you say, 0.5?
0.5 and 0.1.
And 0.1. So both the pens were being used to make these incredibly fine marks, which are like tracery. They're almost like making lace. If it were an embroiderer, they would be like actually stitching very, very carefully. And so that was, the process was something which really engaged me a great deal, because I was thinking of all these fine etchings, for example, in which we have examples of great etchers, great drawers, who would be drawing with their etching needles, or engravers who would be engraving copper plates with their engraving tools, and making these marks that would then ultimately be printed and inked and printed, and then these wonderful, amazing prints would come from them. But here was Waqas, who was working on these very, very large surfaces, and he shared with me that he had 4 or 5 swarthy men, strong men, holding these canvases which weighed many, many kilos, and he had to keep moving them round and round, because many of them are spherical. If you when you see these images, you can see from them, and the only way that you can actually work with them is to keep actually moving them around and then continuing with that whole process. Then we talked about how, for me, I felt that nature had a lot to do with what his work was about. And we talked about the years that he spent in Akhtarabad, actually going to school over there, going into the fields, going into the forests, working with the munji and the, all the crops that were being grown, and really feeling them. We talked about him working with the takhti and putting the gachi on the takhti, and then writing with the reed pen on that takhti, and the mashq, the repetition of practice over and over and over again with the ustad.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And so this was the kind of conversation we were having. And then we talked about the sand and the sky and the wet earth.
Yeah.
And the colors that emerge from that. I mean, looking at the sky, blue skies. Do we see blue skies?
Yeah.
I don't think we see blue skies. But nevertheless, we dream of them. And we look at the sand, and we see the mica in the sand and those speckles in the sand. And we look at the marks that Waqas is making, and are they just intuitive? Or is he really looking at those marks, and how much of that, some way or another, comes into his work? So now I think I've said enough. Now, but this is you're supposed to be talking about your work, and you're making me do all the talking.
I think I already said it. आज मेरे उस्ताद मेरे साथ हैं, मैं जो मर्जी करूँ.
अच्छा तो करो.
No. So basically, so how this practice start from a small scale, like very small. Start from a very small works. So how it starts, you have to put yourself in that space. I call it very mood, or you can call it in a way that I need to be in that space, that I'm going to start something on a large scale. It does not start on a large scale like, okay, I'm coming in front of the work and I've started something. No. I have to put myself in that space, which is, I don't know where it is coming from, let me tell you. I don't know, because look at me, I don't look like even an artist. But I just, so what happens is that, because it's just, so I started with the small pieces, very small ones. So I call them writings. And I title them Forming Spaces. So I put myself first in that mood and that trance or something, just to be in there. And after that, I jump on the large scale pieces. So, like I said before, and क्योंकि मैं थोड़ा सा simple बातें करने का आदी हूँ, मुझे वो जगह जहाँ पे मैंने काम लगाना है, वो मुझे वो देती है सब कुछ. मैं जाता हूँ उस जगह में, मैं बैठता हूँ, मैं सोचता हूँ और मैं काम बनाता हूँ. और वही जगह जहाँ पे मैं बैठा होता हूँ, वही मुझे सब कुछ दे रही होती है. I live with that space. और मैं I visit those spaces again and again just to make sure the right work has to be placed at the right way. This is how it starts. So होता क्या है कि then when I jump on the big format, like a big works or something like that, so I have an idea कि मैंने क्या करना है. It's because if you look at these pieces, they are very defined forms, like circles, cubes. Everything is very defined, but madam, it does not end like that way. It just every day I'm writing. So this is my expression, like these dots or lines. For me, these are writings. So I'm writing every day a story, like a diary. I would write. So मैं लिखता जाता हूँ. अगर आप देखिए उसको, जो मैं कल आपको दिखाना चाह रहा था, जिन्हें आपने उसको नोट भी किया, कि I was showing you. So those impressions, those marks are changing because these works actually आप जो देख रहे हैं, या आप love that you should go and visit HBL Tower and look at those pieces. You're not looking at the pieces. You're actually looking at my whole time. Like I'm in front of those pieces. I'm getting aged with those pieces. The whole emotional side of mine. Because we're not static emotionally. So I'm writing every day. In another expression, I would say that. तो उस तरह ये शुरू होता है और उसी के साथ ही. और ये बिल्कुल, this exercise is very different. So when you working as an like किसी भी लिखारी की तरह जो, so there's no gaps. The work, jo bhi kaam hai, the work I've started, it has to be finished. There is no breaks. There's no breaks. It has to be finished. It's like a long journey, even from months. Just me, the work, and inside cave of mine, like you have seen as a cave.
Make a space.
Yeah.
I think what was very interesting was when Waqas said to me that, you know, ma'am, what I do is that the only break that I take is that I leave the house and leave my studio or the space wherever I'm working, and I go for a walk.
Yeah.
And I go into the park or wherever I am, because if I'm working in my studio, then the closest place is really the park that I go to, and that's the place that I find great solace in. And just communing with, you know, just nature, the trees and the grass, just being there, but being on my own. So it's a time that I really want to be solitary. I don't want to people to visit me. I don't want to be communicating with anybody, because I'm so engrossed with the process of making that it has to be completely undisturbed. Because if it is disturbed, something or the other will go wrong. And the rhythm of the work, when you look at the work, when you see it in real detail, it has an internal rhythm, and that rhythm cannot be broken. The other interesting thing is, and we discussed this yesterday, that it is not hard-edged. None of the work is hard-edged. It has a kind of internal web and flow. And we look at the work of many other artists that we are familiar with. I mean, I saw something and I said, are you know, there were these beautiful aquamarine works which were from this Axel Verwoerd, which is one of his most recent exhibitions in Belgium. And I said, you know, do you like Rothko? And he said, well, I mean, who cannot like Rothko? Because they're so wonderful. And again, it reminded me very much of that. But the thing is that the internal working, the internal mark making is something which is very particular to him. It is quite unique. And that is something which from yesterday I've been really engrossed in just absorbing the work and enjoying that aspect of it. We talked about we were talking about weaving.
Yeah.
We talked about embroidery, we talked about weaving. We said, you know, we looked at pulkaris. We talked about pulkari and the weaving in pulkari, the stitching of the pulkari stitch with silk on cotton, and the slightly bigger stitch than the very fine Kashmiri stitch that you would find on a shawl, and then the blemishes that somehow whoever's making that pulkari suddenly decides, oh well, you know, it doesn't really matter, I'll put just kuch laga dena chahiye. There's this little blemish, and that blemish makes it human. That blemish is that one thing that says that this is not mechanical. This is something that is made by the human hand and the human eye, and it's the artist saying, well, it's my thing after all. I'm the one who's doing it, I can do what I want. You know, so I can leave that so-called imperfection, which of course is the imperfections which make it so marvelous. And so we talked about that, and then we talked about weaving. And of course, because Waqas comes from a place where weaving is very much part of the culture, the village culture. You know, you've got the looms, you've got the cotton, you've got the weaving. Every place has its own economy. And so you're weaving cloth and so on, and the unraveling of it. And somehow these kind of experiences, they're very tangent they're very tangible, and they're very sentient. They're sensory experiences, and he is part of that. He responds to it, and somehow maybe at that point he didn't respond to it, but maybe at some stage when he is making the work, all of this somehow becomes part of the art making process. Am I making some sense?
Totally agree.
So I think that it's about time we started other people, give them some chance to ask questions.
Please.
Any questions?
Is there any question for me, please? Do you have a question?
Yeah.
Please. Please.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Please.
I just was more interested in the process.
Yeah.
You have a lot of works which are concentric in nature and some that are linear. So my question is two-folded. When you're doing the concentric paintings, do you actually start from the center and work your way out slowly? And does that pattern emerge in your mind of how it's going to work out, or it's already formed? And the second question is that you have lots of little disruptions in your work.
Yeah.
Is that also very thought out, because it's aesthetically very pleasing? So I'm thinking that, is that a thought out process, is to break that work with disruptions for aesthetic reasons, or is it just all in the process?
So if you look at those pieces, so I start from the outside.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's more good.
Yes. Because this is, like I said before, this whole exercise actually taught me how the work should be placed. I haven't designed anything. So you start from the outside, it goes towards inside. And the interruption and you're talking about, so it's just like I said earlier, it's like a writing. So when you start writing, because I said it, I'm writing every day, I'm holding the pen in one hand, and this hand is supporting the tip of the pen like a knitting, like the man what said, is just like knitting. So these things become like you have a muscle memory at the same time. You have so these interruptions appears. I call it, there's a very famous dialogue जो मैं अक्सर बोलता रहता हूँ. The hands start dancing on the canvas. So it becomes secondary. The whole process it just leads you to, because you're totally there. Because मुझे भी ये नहीं पता था कि ये exercise कैसी है, because this work actually changed me so much. I have a certain history, which is I'm sure quite few people knows maybe. So this whole process actually changed me, and it is teaching me at the same time how I should be putting up these pieces, how should we are doing it. And I simply have this white canvas, a white surface, and I just come in front of it and just start it. This is how it happens. Yeah. Sorry.
Assalamualaikum वकास.
Sorry. Yeah.
वकास, आपके और आपकी ज़ौजा के पास बड़ा अनमोल फ़न है जो आप लोगों के पास अल्लाह ताला ने आपको अता किया और आपकी मेहनत इसमें शामिल। आप कोई यंग जनरेशन को ये फ़न पास करने की कुछ सोच रहे हैं कि जो यंग जनरेशन है उसको ये फ़न आप आगे पास ऑन करें या सिखाएं बच्चों को आर्ट्स के हवाले से, कोई ऐसा प्लान है?
मैं ज़रा इसका जवाब मैं देना चाह रही
जी
हूँ।
प्लीज़।
मैं जो भूल गई क्या ना, वो मुझे नोट्स बनाने चाहिए, मगर मैं इतनी प्रोफेशनल नहीं हूँ इजाज़ की तरह। तो जो मैं भूल गई क्या ना, वो ये है कि चंद साल हुए बुशरा ने, जो कि इनकी बेगम हैं और मेरी शागिर्द ये भी हैं, और वकास ने एक फाउंडेशन खोला है जिसका नाम है नत्थू। उसका ज़िक्र है इनकी इसी किताब में, जहाँ पे एक पूरी क्रोनोलॉजी है, उसमें इन्होंने जो चीज़ें जिस साल में की हैं वो सब लिखा हुआ है। نتھو فاؤنڈیشن جو ہے وہ ایک ایجوکیشن فاؤنڈیشن ہے اور انہوں نے اسکول بنائے ہیں اور خاص طور پہ اختر آباد میں انہوں نے وہاں سے شروع کیا ہے. اور یہ پہلے تو یہ جاتے تھے ہر ہفتے اور یہ جا کے وہاں پہ اسکول کے بچوں کو پڑھاتے تھے دونوں کی دونوں. اور پھر اس کے بعد میں اب اس کو وہ آہستہ آہستہ کر کے ایکسپینڈ کر رہے ہیں. SOS ولیجز کے ساتھ بھی ان کا ایک تعلق ہے, ان کے ساتھ بھی کام کر رہے ہیں. تو ان کا ایک بہت گہرا کمٹمنٹ ہے آلسو ٹو ایجوکیشن. اگر یہ کچھ جواب دے رہا ہے
جی پلیز.
Quite a loud voice, so I think that
جی
will be okay without.
سوری.
I wanted to ask, جب میں آپ کا کام دیکھتی ہوں.
Please take this because the people at the back can't hear you.
Okay, better. I'll have to speak softer. I love your work. I think it is, آپ کا جب HPL پہ ہوا تھا exhibition,
جی
I remember going to each painting and sitting for quite a while and looking, and I understand what you mean when you say کہ آپ painting کے اندر, کیونکہ وہ بھی painting باہر بھی نکلتی ہے.
جی.
It definitely has that quality. What I wanted to ask was the significance of lines and circles. مطلب lines بھی ہیں لیکن suddenly آپ کی جو آپ جرنل کر رہے ہیں یا لکھ رہے ہیں ڈائری میں, وہ نقطوں کی کیا significance ہے, like what happens, is it organic, کیونکہ بریک آتا ہے اس میں جب آپ کے نقطے لائن سے نقطہ بن جاتا ہے. So I just wanted to know.
This exercise of doing these lines and dots, and I have done work with neon even, I made the sculptures even, like I said earlier, it's کچھ چیزیں ہیں جن کا جواب میرے پاس بھی نہیں ہے, اور میں بہت خوش ہوں ان چیزوں سے کہ یہ ایک چیز کہ I have this form, I have this thing in front of me, لیکن اس کو توڑنا اور جوڑنا یہ میرا اختیار بھی نہیں ہوتا کئی دفعہ. I don't plan these things. I don't plan at all. تو میں اس جستجو میں ہوں. I am in this. کیونکہ اگر جیسے میڈم ابھی فرما رہی تھیں کہ ہمیں جیسے اس کام کو جب شروع میں جیسے ہم بات کی تو it was talked as something related to Sufi scripts. جیسے نقطہ اس میں سے ہم بات کرتے ہیں. جب اس کے بعد بات ہونا شروع ہوئی تو ایبسٹریکشن کے اوپر ہماری ٹاک ہونا شروع ہو گئی, یہ ایبسٹریکٹ کام بناتا ہے. پھر پوائنٹلزم پہ بات ہو گئی, اور ابھی ریسنٹلی میں ہانگ کانگ میں سو دا ایبسٹریکشن فرام دا ساؤتھ, اینڈ آئی ایم ویری لکی دیٹ دیر از اے نیو ڈبیٹ جو جنریٹ ہوئی کہ ایبسٹریکشن فرام دا ساؤتھ, کیونکہ ہماری یہاں سے اس بارے میں بات ہونا شروع ہو کہ ہم, کیونکہ ایبسٹریکشن آلویز کم فرام دا سب, جیسے یو نو دیٹ از یو ایس آلویز کہ دس از آور بلا بلا بلا. تو یہ ایک گفتگو ہے, یہ چلتی ہوئی بات ہے جس پہ ہم پہنچیں گے کبھی, اور یہ ایک ایکسرسائز ہے. اور میں ابھی کچھ چیزوں کے بارے میں خود آئی ایم ناٹ سرٹن, آئی ایم ناٹ شیور کہ کیا ہوگا. ابھی آج میں آئی ایم میکنگ لائنز اینڈ ڈاٹس, اینڈ کل اگر مجھے کسی اسپیس میں آئی ایم گوئنگ ٹو ایگزبٹ سمویئر ایلس, یو مائٹ فائنڈ اے ڈفرنٹ ورکس دیئر, بیکاز اٹ ڈپینڈز آن ویئر آئی ایم گوئنگ ٹو ایگزبٹ. ابھی ریسنٹلی ٹیل یو I've done this یعنی ایک پروجیکٹ تھا, اس میں میں نے گلاس اسکلپچر بنا دیا, and I had never tried it. In this book there's a neon piece called خوش آمدید. I'll tell you the story of that very briefly. اب وہ میں نے کبھی میڈم نہیں نیون میں کام نہیں کیا, یا رائٹنگز میں کبھی میں نے کام نہیں کیا. تو میں مانچسٹر آرٹ گیلری میں پہنچا, تو جیسے ہی میں وہاں پہ تو جیسے I wanted to visit those spaces, so I was there. تو بات کیا ہو رہی تھی کہ میں ادھر دیکھ رہا ہوں کہ دیٹ اسٹرکچر, دیٹ بلڈنگ, صبح 8:30 بجے لوگ اس بلڈنگ کے پاس سے گزرے, اور شام کو 5:30 بجے they were coming back like a robots. اور اس سٹی کو میں نے دیکھنا شروع کیا کہ they're not even looking at these structures. اور پھر میں نے انویسٹیگیٹ کرنا شروع کر دیا ود ڈائریکٹر آف دا میوزیم کہ یہاں پہ باہر کے لوگ کتنے ہیں, پاکستانی کتنے ہیں, ہاؤ مینی انڈینز اور بنگلہ دیشیز. تو آئی اسٹارٹ این انویسٹیگیشن اباؤٹ دس. تو it just came to me, I was sitting with this gentleman at the reception, like I said before. So I said, and I started having a conversation with him. What do you think, but if I just put Khush Amdeed over here? He was like, and he was an Iranian guy. He was like, very good. Very good. You know, that I was like, okay, let's put a Khush Amdeed there in front of the museum. So what happened, I had this conversation with Nick Merriman, so he was the director. So I said, I'm just going to put Khush Amdeed in front of your buildings. He said, why? I was like, I gave him the reason. This is, I wanted to activate these buildings because these people are your people. They're not even getting inside your building. So I want them because all these nationalities, they know, they understand Khush Amdeed. So usne kaha, okay, ek nahi, phir 3 lagaoge tum. I was like, what? But my project was only at Manchester Art Gallery. So he gave me Manchester Museum. He gave me Whitworth even, کہ سب کے باہر خوش آمدید لگا دو. So this is how this whole practice basically start. Like, so I don't plan, but I plan something after being there first. تو لیکن جب اس کی involvement جب میں engage کرتا ہوں, then it ends up in somewhere else. So I'm still learning, hopefully. Yeah. Yeah.
میں آپ سے 2 سوال کرنا چاہ رہا ہوں.
جی.
ایک تو کیا یہ آپ فرسٹ سے یہ جنہوں نے پاکستان میں انٹروڈیوس کروایا یا آپ یہاں کس سے انسپائر ہو کر یہ اسٹارٹ کیا؟ دوسرا یہ کہ کیا یہ جو آپ اس کے اندر میڈیا یا مٹیریل یوز کرتے ہیں یہ کامن ہے یا کوئی اسپیسیفک ہے اس کے؟
پہلا سوال کیا تھا میم؟
کہ یہ جو آپ نے کام اسٹارٹ کیا ہے یہ کوئی کامن ہے پاکستان کے اندر یا آپ نے فرسٹ انٹروڈیوس کروایا یا آپ کس سے انسپائر ہو کے یہ آپ نے یہ کام ہاتھ میں لیا؟
You were my teacher.
نہیں دیکھیں, اس کا کچھ ایک چھوٹا سا جواب اس کا یہ ہے کہ ہر آرٹسٹ جو ہے نا وہ اپنے طور پہ اور اپنی سوچ کے حوالے سے, اپنے فن کے حساب سے وہ ایک کوئی چیز پیش کرتا ہے. اب یہ کوئی نہیں کہہ سکتا کہ پہلے سب سے پہلا وہی تھا کہ جس نے یہ کیا. یہ آپ کا ایک طرح سے سوال ہے. تو میں یہ نہیں کہہ سکتی کہ سب سے پہلے یہی تھے, مگر یہ ہے کہ جس انداز میں انہوں نے اس وقت کام کیا ہے اور تو اس حوالے سے شاید یہ سب سے پہلے ہوں جو کہ اس انداز میں کام کر رہے ہیں. ٹھیک ہے نا؟ اور دوسرا آپ کا کیا سوال تھا؟ مٹیریل تو یہ استعمال کر رہے ہیں جو کہ دلچسپ چیز ہے. وہ یہ ہے کہ پہلے قلم, میں نے ذکر کیا تھا کہ یہ پہلے قلم تختی پہ کام کرتے تھے, تو آپ کو معلوم ہے کہ آپ کیسے وہ سیاہی بناتے ہیں اور کس طرح سے قلم کو تراش کے اور پھر قلم سے آپ اس سیاہی سے لکھتے ہیں تختی پہ. پھر بہت ساری اور طریقے آ گئے. اب بال پین بھی ہمارے پاس ہے, اور طرح کے ہمارے پاس آلے ہیں جن سے ہم لکھتے ہیں. تو ایک قلم ہوتا ہے جس کو کہتے ہیں روٹرنگ پین, اس کے اندر بھی سیاہی ہوتی ہے اور اس کی جو نوک ہوتی ہے وہ مختلف موٹائی کی ہوتی ہے. تو اس سے یہ ڈرا کرتے ہیں اس قلم سے. اس لیے اس کتاب کا عنوان ہے اے مین ود اے پین.
Yes, please.
نور جہاں یہاں پہ دیجیے گا. یہ پلیز pass
So
that on
mine
to
is
her.
more of a practical question.
Please.
اتنے بڑے کینوس پہ جب کام کرتے ہیں, it's impossible. It's back-breaking work.
جی.
So I remember your first thesis at NCA. That was very playful. So you went from being a
Sorry.
so you went from
Please
being
pass
laid
this,
back to
please.
making such tedious artworks.
Can you repeat this, please? Because
So
We can't
so I
hear
remember
you.
your first thesis at NCA.
Ji, ji.
That work was very playful.
Yeah.
So you went from being that laid back person to doing this work which is back breaking.
Ji.
Hours and hours, aankhein, back, physical work.
Yeah.
So that I found very interesting. And how do you get to the middle of the canvas?
Yeah.
You know, he can't reveal all his tricks, you see. You have to leave something for him to hide from all of us.
Madam Noorjahan has a question, please.
Noor Jahan.
Ji, Assalamu alaikum, madam.
No, it's not working, Noor Jahan. नहीं, give her another mic, please.
अपनी सामने से हट जाइए.
हाँ, ये बिल्कुल.
नहीं, मैं नहीं बोल सकती. Sorry, Bakaas, total admirer of your work, you know that. बहुत बहुत खुशी होती है आपके काम को देख के. Just a small question, wanted to know, when you start your work and you've explained how the space plays such an important role. So actually there are two questions. If it's not work for a studio, I mean for a gallery or for a certain space, and you just have to work, how does that happen then? Is it just your studio which inspires? So that's one. And the other, I want to know that you said that your work is, you decide of what it would be. So at what point does that is left behind once you've got conceptually worked out? इस यहाँ मैं इसको लेके जाऊँगा आगे, तो फिर आपका intuitive ज़्यादा हो जाता है या फिर बीच में you have to step back and look and again redefine, or then that is just left behind and it's your intuition that takes you forward? I don't know if I've made my question clear.
Ma'am, thank you for this question. And when it comes to these, you have seen the repetitive works in all over the world, the different artists who has. So this is very, this whole exercise is very organic at the same time. But like I said earlier, but your engagement is so, like you're totally engaged with those pieces. You are there, basically, you know, you are there, like physically, you're in that space. And of course, when you said about the studio space, studio is a space. So how it happened, because Maya and Jamal Sahab even, I mean, go drawings bana ke, just referring you how this project happened over here. تو میں ان کو ڈرائنگس بنا کے دکھاتا تھا کہ یہ دیکھیے لائک دس از ہاؤ اٹ اینڈ آئی ایکچولی میڈ دوز اسٹرکچرز ان مائی اسٹوڈیو لائک دس ہول اسپیس ان دیئر بلڈنگ آئی ایکچولی میڈ دوز اسپیسز ان دیٹ اسٹوڈیو کہ دس از ہاؤ دس ورک ول بی بٹ وین اوکے لیٹس سپوز آئی ایم ناٹ ایگزبٹنگ ان اینی اسپیس اینڈ دیٹس دا کوشچن میم آئی تھنک آئی ہیو دوز ورکس ود می یا those works are with me, and those are the pieces which actually keeping me in this rhythmic movement as well, because I'm not stopping. Lekin hota ye hai ki sometimes when it comes to the smaller frameworks, unko main place kar pata hu because they can be placed in a smaller format, but when it comes to the large scale, so I try to keep them with me, basically. I don't, so then there are certain works, جیسے آپ آئے تھے HBL والے میں, so this canvas basically, the large format of 8 feet and 12 feet, I have done it first time. I haven't done it before. I haven't even tried to achieve that before even. So basically that space has allowed me to exercise that freedom to be like, okay, yeah, this is mine, you know, I will do this and stuff. So this is how it happened. So this is how it works, basically. Yeah. I try to. No. Yes. It's very much there. It's very much there. It's very much there. I'm not rigid. It's something, اگر آپ نے وہ کینوس پہ اگر دیکھا ہو you can see those pencil marks even. I don't even remove them even. So I just leave everything. This is like the canvas. So I don't stop. It's just there. And I let this energy which is, it's value making these kind of, it's not me only, the writers are the same. Any craft, like they are same, it comes to you. And I just, I don't let this external formula, I would say that too, no, iska design yahan se theek nahi hai, ye main aise kar do, no. I just let it be. I don't, and I'm a true believer of energies, and I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Any further questions?
We've
got somebody gesturing from the back that we have to wind up. So
Yeah.
that's it. This is the kind of gestures that we're getting from the back.
Any?
So I think that I think what I find very interesting about this monograph is when you open it at the back, you see a chronology, and it's a kind of one of those concertina kind of chronologies. And it starts with 2008, which is the year when Waqas actually graduated from the National College of Arts. And it goes all the way to 2022. It doesn't go beyond that, because I suppose the book was being designed at that, until, in that time. And what fascinated me was that, there's a kind of slow movement to, there's one exhibition here, there's another exhibition there, there's something here, something there. And then after 2013, there seems to be this real flurry of activity, exhibitions, energy, and it's quite extraordinary. And I really congratulate him for that.
Thank you.
Because he is really, really at his prime.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Din